I've been on a lot of interviews over the last 6 years since I lost my job, and quite a few more even before then. And the craziest thing I have ever heard at a job that I was working at is being considered too nice to work someplace. Now, the first time I heard this was way back in 1997 when I was working at a high end gourmet supermarket. And they were considering putting me on the registers as a cashier. And all of a sudden, abruptly, the manager decides he doesn't want to put me on the registers as a cashier. He says that I am too nice and people will take advantage of me. Now, aren't people supposed to get good quality customer service? Aren't they supposed to be deal with nice, friendly people? Isn't being nice and friendly, you know, exactly what you want in your customer service person? Isn't this what you want from the person working at your front desk? I asked that question because how can a person be too nice to work at a register? Wouldn't you want that person there at the front representing your company, putting on that, getting that positive first impression on people? Isn't this how you get repeat business? But I was considered too nice for working at this high end gourmet supermarket. And, it pretty much aggravated me, and I just pretty much left that job based on that. And the other reason that they were just kept cutting my hours. And I just decided, it's just time for me to move on because I listened to this insanity and I said to myself, how can someone be too nice for customer service? You really wanted a nice, friendly person working at your front desk. You really want a nice, friendly person, representing your business. And what I would get is you're too nice. And another thing I would get, because I got this at the job after I got this other one in 2000, you're too professional. Now, how can someone be too professional? It's another issue I had because I was this was when I was working at Strive, the job readiness workshop. Now, had this director of social services at the time say that, don't work too hard. Now, a person is supposed to work hard. A person is supposed to, give you 100%. And there was this statement, and another coworker there was saying that, why are you dressing up on Fridays? Now, I was dressing up on Fridays because that's just the way I do things. Some people think that I'm too professional and I'm too serious, but when you're on a job, when you're representing your business, you want to put that positive light forward. You want to put that positive image forward in front of people because you never know when a client's going to come in. Because even on a casual Friday, you may have a client come in and you really want to put that positive first impression. Now, to accommodate some people, I started, dressing a little bit more casual for casual Fridays. But my whole thing with Monday through Fridays is I always dress like I am wearing like right now, and usually with a dress shirt like this, I usually put a tie with it to make sure that it's extremely professional. Now, at this job, I just it just kind of disturbed me. You go to a job in two cases, and you're considered one too nice, one too professional, and you work too hard. And I look at that and I said to myself, what's wrong with this picture? Um, isn't this what you want in a model employee? Don't you want someone who's going to, bring the best to the table? I mean, you always should be bringing your best to the table in any job, even right now when I'm like SJS Direct Imprint with all the books I've published, I always make a point to make them the best quality possible. If there are issues in the books and I hear about the issues, like a typo or something like that, I'll go back and I'll fix that book and I'll upload it because I want my readers to have the best quality reading experience as possible. And this just boggled my mind. Hearing about being too nice, too professional, and at the last job I had, in 2008, what I heard was one of the most disturbing things I had ever heard was because I would open the library at a certain hour, because it was like 8:56 or something like that, and I was told that I was spoiling the kids by opening the library at a certain hour, and they wanted it to be opened at 8:50 something. I don't know, and it was just, I'm spoiling you. You're paying for this. You're paying your good college, your money for this college tuition, and you're paying for the services at this library. That's the way I saw it. And if you're paying for product and paying for service, you should be given the very best. This is not about, it wasn't entitlement to me. It was about giving the customer the best quality service as possible. And that meant opening at a certain hour and providing services that met a certain standard. But according to the people who worked there, especially this college professor, he was looking for a guy with a sales and customer service background. Now, here I was providing the service and bringing it up to a higher standard by saying, look, you deserve the very best. You know, you're paying your money for this tuition, you're paying their money um, for the use of these resources. You deserve the very best, and you deserve to have me here at a certain hour, ready to prepare these services for you, ready to have these reserve books, set up, ready to have this library set up and ready to go, so that when you come in, all the services are ready for you. But for some people, not good enough. They want somebody with a sales and customer service background. And really, what they mean is, what they want is a mediocre person, or a person who's just going to, sate their ego and make them feel good about themselves. But this person usually doesn't provide quality service. Usually the service does not really, it's not kept to a consistent standard. Because one of the things I always try to do when in any job that I was working at, was make sure everything meets a consistent, level of quality and a consistent standard. Even with my own books published in under the SJS Direct imprint, I try to make sure that all the books, meet a standard for quality and a standard, for content. And I always try to make sure that they're the very best they can possibly be. If there's a typo or something, sometimes that just happens. I'm one person. I'm writing all these books myself, but I always want everything to meet a high level of quality and a high quality for content. And I believe in making sure that things meet, high quality and have high standard. Because like when I was working at the library, I always believed that, you're paying money for tuition. You're not entitled to a library being open at a certain hour. You deserve to have that library open at a certain hour. Your parents are paying money for tuition. Government is paying money for tuition. This library needs to be open at a certain hour. This is not an entitlement. This is quality service. This is what service, you know, was all about. When you're serving a customer, you want to make sure that everything, is at a high level of quality so that they will come back and say, this service is so good that I want to come back again. And I had people that I was forming relationships with many of the students there. I knew what they wanted, and they it wasn't no anticipating the customer like this pro black female that was working with me with. They pretty much knew if they wanted something, you come to me and you'll get it. And if you communicate with me, you'll get what you want. That's what customer service is. You're forming a relationship with the customer. You're letting them know that if you everything is up to a standard, and if you come in and you ask for something, it'll be here. It's not about too nice or too professional. That's about maintaining a level of professionalism and a level of quality that so that people will get the very best possible. I mean, when you have any business, whether it be for profit, non-profit, you want to give people the best services possible so that you can have them come back again. And that's what I was trying to do in all the jobs that I had. I always wanted to make sure that people got that great service because I wanted them to come back. Because when they get the great service, guess what they're going to do? They're going to tell their friends. They're going to tell their family. They're going to tell the people around them. I want to come back here. And what I had, you know, everything was up to a certain standard. Even when I was asked to close the library, I made sure that everything was up to a certain standard because I wanted things to be at a certain standard. You know, I would let people know ahead of time that this place is going to close at 4:45 and that the desk, closes 15 minutes before the library closes. And When people understood how I did things, they understood how things were supposed to be done. They would pretty much they would make sure that everything met a certain standard. So they knew that at 4:45, my but I made sure that everything met a certain standard and met a standard for quality. And when you when you say that the library is supposed to close at 15 minutes, I mean circulation desk closes at 15 minutes before the library. It doesn't mean you get to come in at 5 o'clock and show up, at the last 5 minutes. That's not good. You have to have a standard for everything. When people have standards, they understand how things work. I mean, when I was working at Stripe, that's what we got drilled into us was that everything has to meet a certain standard. 9 o'clock is 9 o'clock, not 8:55. When we open at 9 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock. It's the same thing when you go to a job interview. 9 o'clock is 9 o'clock, and this is something that got drilled into us, and everything has to meet certain standards for attitude and behavior. And I don't understand American workplace with regards to customer service. So whenever you see these angry and surly people whenever you're in line at a supermarket like where I used to work, the fat chick who rolls her eyes and gives you attitude. I believe that is there because the managers want that to be there. Because if I'm too nice for customer service, is this the standard that you want? Is that what they want? Is this hostile, usually fat black woman or Hispanic woman who rolls her eyes, sucks her teeth, gives you attitude, and is totally unprofessional? Is this what you want? Because I'm too nice. This is what you want? And when you run into people who are just rude and disrespectful in places like your libraries or your other front desks, believe that this is the standard that they want because I was told I was too nice and too professional. And when you run into this also in other workplaces, when you run into the guy who has no time and won't listen to you, won't take the time to talk to you, or won't communicate with you, this is the standard that they want. Again, too professional. The guy who sloppy and doesn't do the work to a high level of quality. This is what they want. I mean, guys like me, we want to bring it up to the next level. We really want to push the work to a higher level and maintain a high standard for quality and a high standard for professionalism. But we're told that we're too nice, too professional, and that we're entitling people for stuff that they pay for. I mean, I feel that if you pay for something, you should get it. And when you pay for the best, you deserve the very best. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.